I might make a few Danes angry with this video. I will try to compare living in Tokyo to Copenhagen for some odd reason, and I'm gonna try to come up with as many excuses as possible as to why I still do not speak proper Danish after living there for quite a few years.
And I will give you a few examples as to when life is hard without knowing this odd Norwegian dialect called Danish. Okay, let's go. For the lovely Danes who are about to lynch me with a Fransk hot dog, I will try to learn your beautiful potato language one day. Jeg vil gøre mit bedste. But the question is, can you survive living in Copenhagen without speaking Danish? Yes, absolutely. Let's get the you should learn Danish to integrate, to be able to join a football club, to understand the culture, yada 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 out of the way. That is all true. You should learn the language if you can, and I will try to do that. But will your quality of life be drastically worse if you cannot speak the Dansk? In my opinion, no. Not at all. Well, it's a maybe if you live outside of Copenhagen. But it's okay if you are in Aarhus. And probably some other places too. This whole thing has some nuance to it, so let's unravel this. I studied in Aarhus for 2.5 years. Some people call that city a suburb of Copenhagen, others might tell you that everyone there owns a car trailer, or they actually know a pig farmer. Those things might be true. But from my experience, it is a nice spot where you can easily get away with speaking just English. Most friends that I've made in that place suspiciously didn't speak Danish either. Oh yeah, because they were all internationals too. But there was a definite cultural push from people to learn Danish. Like completely random people would offer their opinion about this. In my first week of being there, I bought a used bike from a local. The dude that sold me the bike, 2 minutes after I met him, told me that I must learn Danish. Mind you, I was only in this country for a mere 5 days, and I just wanted to buy his bike. I didn't really want to pay extra for the life advice. I bought the bike, and I assured him that I will learn Danish, then I rode away. And this was an ongoing notion in Aarhus that happened to me so many times. I was told by strangers the same thing at the bank, by my doctor, in the stores, on the bus, and during random encounters. Pretty much this was a common thing to happen. But I studied and I worked all in English for these 2 years, mostly without a problem at all. Then I moved to Copenhagen, and that was a completely different experience from Aarhus. How? Well, no one really offered their unsolicited advice that I should be learning Danish just yet. I vividly remember one of my old managers saying to me that I don't even understand why would you want to learn Danish here in Copenhagen. I thought this was a bit odd, but this actually came up multiple times while living here. So was she right? Yes and no. Generally speaking, you will not have problems without speaking Danish. I cannot really recall a situation where I was completely stuck with something important and I wasn't able to figure it out using English. Oh, maybe when the ticket calling machines are broken in the city office and they just yell out the numbers instead, because this is how Danish some numbers sound like.
873.
So good luck to you if you're waiting on number 873. Yes, I'm aware that I should learn this language, but if you refer to the title of this video, which is something like, can you survive Denmark without Danish? And not, should you learn Danish if a middle-aged dude from Facebook Marketplace in Aarhus tells you to do so? Then you'll know what we are actually talking about here. I work in a very international environment where English is our office language. If you're interested, you can actually watch a video about what do I do all day over here.
So why am I recording this 8,500 kilometers away from Copenhagen? Well, it's sort of to prove a point that when I know that my life is going to be massively improved if I know the local language, I actually do put in the effort and learn it. And I'm also not a ignorant, culturally insensitive asshole, but more so someone who's actually just reacting to their circumstances of their surroundings. I lived in Tokyo for a few years, but before we made the move over here, I actually spent quite a bit of time at language schools to learn their language. Why did I do that? Because on the multiple visits and holidays that I came to Japan before the move, I realized that if I'm gonna move here, I should really learn Japanese because it's going to have a huge impact on my life, positively. Why is it so different here in Tokyo? Do you need to open a bank account? Or want to start a phone subscription? Or even just operate a microwave? All those things would be very simple back in Copenhagen. But here, you would be shit out of luck if you do not speak any Japanese. I've known people here in Tokyo who have been living here for over 8 years, and they could barely put together a goodbye or a thank you. And while in itself that sounds absolutely crazy, it is somewhat of an impressive feat in my opinion, that they somehow managed to stay alive here for that long without speaking any Japanese. While Tokyo faces its own problems with their lack of ability of speaking English, Copenhagen has kind of pushed this whole thing to the other edge of the spectrum. They speak English so well that I, as an immigrant, do not really feel the pressure to actually learn Danish. Mind you, this luxury of not learning Danish is not reserved only for the rich expats who come and go into different countries. People who do not speak Danish exist on all the different levels of society with many different backgrounds. Again, this is a little bit different in Tokyo, where there are a ton of highly paid expats who kinda exist in their own bubble, but the rest of the day-to-day is kinda taken care for them by their companies, which is fine. They're not really here to learn the language, but more to do some special work. But once we decided to leave Tokyo and we started shopping for our next location where we wanted to live, Denmark was very, very high on that list because of their such good level of English.
Okay, back in Denmark. Now that you know that you can have a fulfilled life in Copenhagen without learning Danish, but does it suck at all at any given time not knowing it? Yes. For example, having kids in the Danish education system without knowing the language sucks. Going to a teacher-parent meeting where I try to look intelligent while listening to people speak around me sucks.
Vores leverpostej meget bedre end hvad svenskerne har.
My kid speaks Danish, while I don't, and that shit is scary. Fart jokes can only go so far with their kindergarten friends, and I'm running out of gas. Another place where not speaking Danish really sucks is when trying to choose the correct number in the phone menu when you call an insurance company. Signing contracts and agreements that are in Danish are sometimes creeping me out. For example, insurance documents, lease agreements, and so forth. And of course, the little intricacies and details that you miss out on your daily life. You'll miss out on knowing when the potatoes go on sale, or what the angry grandma on her e-bike yells at you on the bike path, and so forth. Holy moly, this was a long video for a very simple, yes, you can live here without speaking Danish, but I hope it was worthy of your time to watch the whole thing to get a deeper understanding of the why. I've existed on the peripheries of multiple different countries, their cultures, living in my own little bubbles for quite a while now. Probably navigating this bit is a bit easier for me, but probably it would be much easier if I just suck it up and learn Danish for good. I do talk a lot about life in Copenhagen in my videos, and I also cover a bit of working in marketing, so check those out, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, thank you, bye. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone!